All right, we're out here at the 2016 World Championships. It's actually the first day of qualifying. After all this time, we're finally into the 10-minute qualifiers. We're here with Paul Wynn. Paul just got in last night, taking in some action. We just thought we'd have a new guest here on our daily recap and talk a little bit about what's happening on the racing front. Paul, you got here. We watched a little bit of racing. What are you seeing so far with what's going on with the track surface and with the fast guys being up so early, and what are you seeing so far from your perspective?
Yeah, what I saw was that the early in the morning the track was wet. It took a little while for the groove to come in. It seemed like the first heat was split up between the top three of each round or each heat, and they were just kind of sweeping the track. So they did okay. They had clean runs, but they weren't super fast. And then as the rounds went on, race 2, race 3, race 4 got a little faster. So, the track dries out after about 4 or 5 minutes, and the guys can pick up the pace, and it's pretty good.
Yeah, so what, basically, just to kind of run it back here a little bit, we got, at the first round, we had Elliott Boots taking the TQ, Jared Tebow second, Ryan Mayfield third, Ryan Cavallari fourth, Ty Tessman fifth, Ricardo Berton, Dakota Fenn, David Ronafalk, Cody King, and I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he got 10th. Anyway, so let's talk about, that general top 10, top 9. Kind of my favorites coming into this race, we talked a little bit already, was, I thought David Ronafalk, Ty Tessman, and Ryan Mayfield, I felt were kind of the guys I felt that were kind of poised to maybe win this type of event. Elliott Boots has kind of came out just swinging every time. It doesn't matter if it was a practice, a seeding, a qualifier. He seemed to be able to get it done so far. What do you see with the kind of the guys that had the expectations and stuff, and where do you see everybody kind of measuring up?
Well, it seems like there's two styles of driving, where Elliott Boots is just balls to the walls. I mean, the guy just reacts to whatever's out there and just hammers through. And then you have guys like Cavallari and Ronald Folk who drive a little smoother, a little more precise, and they're both getting it done. So it's kind of fun to see. Mayfield also put in a really clean, consistent run, was not driving as hard as you'd normally see him, and put in a top 3. So I think, the usuals seem to be the guys to beat right now.
Yeah, I mean, at this point you kind of have the speed of the speed and some consistency. You have to give them the consistency, is even with Elliott doing well, but also that you have kind of the consistency of Cavallari doing well so far. He's able to kind of repeat the same thing over and over again, which has got to make the team associated guys pretty happy. So in the round 1, again, we had Elliott Boots, we had Jared Tebow, Ryan Mayfield were the top 3 guys. And, it made them feel really good, those guys, that they kind of got that first run in. It's always a little nervous, that first qualifier, no matter what race you're at. You get a little nervous, and especially towards the end when you're finishing off a good run. So moving on to round 2, we had, kind of the same group once again, back in race 1, 2, and 3. What'd you see different out of the track, and, kind of how things went in round 2?
Well, the track was definitely a little drier. Much rougher. You could see that the guys were, really trying to pick lines and get in their clean runs. And some guys, they went crazy and just, lost control and decided, it changed up the finishing order quite a bit, I think. We saw a few mistakes by some of the big runners. Mayfield had a couple of crashes that, weren't like Mayfield. But then, you had Elliott Boots again, just driving super hard, super aggressive, and was able to, put in another clean run.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about Ryan Cavallari in the first round, but in the second round, he ran another really good time. We got David Ongaro, who was one of the heroes that we had out here in the seating, and kind of showed that, he was able to do a 10-minute run.
Yeah, he can do a full 10-minute run.
And, that was good to see for him. Dakota Fenn right there kind of in the mix.
Yep.
He's been right there both rounds. Ryan Lutz. And then Jorn Newman was one of the rare guys that came out of a much lower seeded heat. I think both of us were kind of surprised because we looked this up and we're like, man, we didn't realize that Jorn kind of snuck one in, but obviously had a clean run, 10:23. Fastest lap was a 35.9, which isn't super impressive compared to the top guys, but he obviously got a clean run in.
Right, and he did it when the track was, even drier and hotter out.
Yeah. Obviously, we had Jared Tebow in 7th. It's kind of hard to say, what to expect at this point. Jared looks smooth, making a couple little mistakes here and there, but it seems like he's always right there towards the end. Obviously, he's right there.
Yeah, it seems like he starts out a little slow in each heat, and then by the end of the run, there he is, top 3 in the heat.
Yeah, and then we got Spencer Rivkin, who really struggled badly in the very first round this morning, but kind of corrected right of the ship, I guess.
Yeah, he did.
In round 2, and what did you see out of Spencer in that last round for him?
Well, I talked to him before the run, and he made a few changes to his car and tried to make it a little easier to drive, and just wanted to put in a really clean run, which he did. I don't think he ever had any marshals or was flipped over, and put it together.
So, kind of moving down, Ty Tessman is in a 9th place for that round. So far, I think I've seen him probably make more mistakes in these first 2 rounds than I've seen him make at the entire last Worlds altogether.
Yeah.
And it kind of shows the difficulty of this track, I guess.
Sure, yeah. His pace is okay, but it's not fast enough to afford those little mistakes like, someone like Boots or Mayfield.
Mm-hmm. So you kind of move on. We got Darren Bloomfield, who really kind of ran a really good run. He wasn't really in there in the first round, but he's obviously one of the more talented drivers here. So what did you see out of him?
Yeah, I think, leading into this race, I was, I thought he's been doing pretty well at some of the Euro races and their series races over there, and I expect quite a bit out of him, actually. He seems to be able to put in really good, clean, long runs.
And then we got Mayfield, who kind of, he dropped to 11th that round from 3rd. He was a little upset about not putting in a clean run that time. I think he kind of expects that out of himself. We had about 3 crashes, I think. One of them was really long there. At the back, for us, would have been the back right corner, but for him, the back left corner. Just kind of got upside down and had to be marshaled there.
Yeah, to me it looked like he was being a little conservative again, trying to get in another clean run, had a few little mistakes, but then really turned it on and made up a lot of time. He got back up into the top 3 or 4 in his heat, and that's what you need to do.
Yeah, and when you look at this, you see things like, that 11 for Ryan there, but, at the end of the day, you never know if you're going to need that to make the semi. For somebody like that, I think he's going to want all 2s, 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s
Sure.
is what he's going to want to really have, but at the end of the day, you never really know what happens, and you might have to take that 11. Robert Battier just hasn't really been himself here this weekend yet.
Could be the issues he was had, health issues coming in, or
Yeah.
Maybe the track's just not to his liking yet. But he's definitely picked it up a little bit that last run, and
Yeah,
so
coming
he'll be
in
there in the end.
Yeah, I think as this track gets worse and it gets drier, I think that's where you'll see him kind of do better. He always seems to like the tracks that are really bad, destroyed, and condition-wise. I use bad as a term, not like it's a bad track, but it's bad condition for
Sure.
driving
Rough,
clean.
dry, yeah.
And that's where he won his Worlds in 2012, so I would anticipate him kind of coming back. JQ got a 13 right there. I know he was complaining on his blog earlier that he was his normal one second a lap off,
Right.
and he was trying to figure out how to dig into that 1 second a lap. Well, if he continues to get those 13s or a little bit better, he can find himself in the semi.
Yeah, semi-quarters, yeah.
Cody King, 14th. Cole Ogden, 15th, who Cole was on an awesome run. We were all super excited for him in the last lap coming down the step downs. He got off onto the infield there, huh?
Yeah, he caught the rear of his car on the step down and kind of drove off into the infield, and then, tried to jump the pipe and got stuck on the pipe. Marshall had to chase him, but he was running second the whole run, and that dropped him 4 spots just in the heat.
Yeah.
So he's got the speed for sure.
Yeah, Cole's been fast the whole time. And something of special note, Elliott Booth has the hot lap for the round at a 35.0. Well, Cole has a 35.1.
Yeah.
So, I think him doing that is just kind of shows, what kind of speed he's had so far this weekend.
Yeah, he did it in the wet condition as well, which was pretty impressive. Most of the guys are getting their hot laps like in the mid to end of the run.
You look at it and you say, hey, Elliott Boots, fastest lap of the round, makes sense. He's doing well. But then you got, like we talked about, Cole Ogden, second fastest lap. But then we got Ongaro and Mayfield, kind of the third and fourth fastest laps. So you can kind of see who's got the speed and who can do it. And then doing the 10 minutes is obviously what this is going to come down to. But Boots now with 2 TQs, I mean, he's kind of in the driver's seat. I believe they're taking 4 out of 6 rounds, most likely.
Yeah.
The IFMAR style. So having the 2 TQs is going to be kind of nice.
It seems like they're trying to figure out the track conditions for the time of day that they're running as well. That's definitely changing things up quite a bit, because they started first in the morning, cool, and before they were starting, middle end of the day. So that's really changing some things up.
All right, well, that's it here from RC Tracks of Las Vegas. Good day here. J Concepts had a good time out here today. Some good results, but we're looking forward to stack some more in the top 3 this time. Really hoping to see Mayfield get that condition and that run I think that he can put in tomorrow, and as well as Spencer, Reno, and all these guys that are battling up there top. Paul, thanks for coming on, and we'll see everybody tomorrow.
All right, thanks for having me. We'll see you.